Easy, elite, English.
Easy, elite, English.
Easy, elite, English.
World leaders in communication skills.
This audiovisual material for English learning is from Integrated Youth Education Resource.
EEE trains you in effective communication. Asking, speaking, listening, understanding, developing your personality and skills for professional success. The truth about communicative English. The ability to converse in English depends not so much on one's command in the language as one's confidence and preparedness of mind. We suffer a sort of mental inhibition, out of shyness or nervousness, when facing an unfamiliar tongue. To overcome this fear we need to prepare our mind to be free, easy and natural. Move gradually from a deliberately controlled speed to the speed of natural talk.
Think, breathe, speak. This is the first lesson that needs to be hammered into the mindset of the learner. Even advanced learners need to remember and practice it in case of public speaking, debate, elocution, and recitation.
Once you think out what you have to say, one line at a time, at the outset, it is easier to say it without breaking loss of fluency. It is also delivered more effectively and impressively, and also with greater clarity. The absence of abrupt jerks also lends to the self-confidence of the speaker.
After having framed a small statement or question in your mind, breathe deep. This has the following advantages.
1. It boosts confidence.
2. It makes delivery smoother.
3. It grants control over voice.
4. It interposes the pause between statements, allowing what is said to sink and consolidate into the listener's head.
5. It also reinforces what you say in your own mind, so your speak out is more coherent.
6. Nervous persons often tend to speak out too fast, and get an abrupt breakdown after an abrupt blurt out. A deep breath may allay apprehension, and steady the nerve, permitting the greater control over your delivery.
Having thus gained the leeway to steady yourself and your composure, and having already prepared the content, even if it is a one-liner, you may safely say what you plan to say.
Speed and fluency. It should be emphasized at the beginning that speed is quite distinct from fluency.
Let the student consider how his family members speak, even in their mother tongue. Assuming that all normal adults are fluent in their native language, it should be obvious that they speak naturally at different speeds. Thus speed is a characteristic of the individual.
Fluency refers to smooth, non-jerky, flow of words. It is more about continuity and confidence than about time and velocity. Variations of tones and pitch, accents, places of emphasis, and other characteristics of natural speech may be there, but the continuity should be smooth without abrupt stops or fumbling, except in places requiring legitimate pauses. An analogy is often drawn by comparing the travel by a train and by a bus on a rough road. The train travels at different speeds at different times, slows down as it approaches a station, speeds up as it moves out of a station. Yet the change of speed, acceleration, is so gradual and its path is so smooth, no pits or holes or bumps, that it may be compared to fluency at all its velocities. On the other hand, a bus, traveling on a rough road, will invariably jerk every now and then, even if it maintains a uniform average speed per hour. This represents non-fluent speech, of hesitancy and confusion.
Although the speed is a matter of individual habit of the person, It is strongly recommended that a controlled speed be maintained, at least in the initial phase of learning. To get an idea, record the time taken to read a continuous, running passage. The rate ought to be within 150 words per minute. In conversation, with several interludes, and more pauses, than a running piece of text, the average speed may be at 130 or so, but within 135 a circumflex 140. In general, a speed of around 125 to 135 words a minute would be found ideal.
Exposure. The student, especially the beginners, must be exposed to, that is, flooded with, English. They should have an all-encompassing ambience of English, which will pervade slowly into their minds and mindsets. They are strongly advised to listen to good English, like BBC News bulletins every day, and to audio cassettes, if available.
Graph on the top represents speech that is not smoothly fluent. The extreme ups, or crests, represent very fast speaking due to nervousness. The extreme lows, or troughs, represent fumbling, breakdown, or abrupt pause due to confusion. The very small extension of the graph before the start line represents fumbling, and the one after the end line represents an unnecessary drag rather than a clear, tidy end. In other words, the start and the end are smudged. Graph below represents a more controlled, smooth, and fluent speech. The variations are there, but these are never abrupt. Note the crisp start and end, as well as the falling tone. The equality of the total length of speech in both the cases corroborates the fact that speed is not fluency.
Easy Elite English. World leaders in communication skills. In service of global community. Contact us at eeecalwb@gmail.com.